Hello everyone, Happy New Year from me and mine to you and yours. So let's begin with our topic. What is professional indemnity insurance? So it is one more very important thing. It is not only important for forensic medicine or any other subject of MBBS. It is actually important when you start your private practice or whenever you are in a corporate setup. It is very important. So what is professional indemnity insurance? So, professional indemnity insurance (PII) is a type of legal and financial protection for doctors and healthcare professionals against claims of medical negligence or professional misconduct. So, a doctor is not supposed to make any mistake, but still, as a human, you tend to do some or the other mistakes. And at that times, you know what happens? Sometimes you may be dragged into a legal matter, and legal matters in India or any other place in the world, it requires a lot of financial protection, uh, the financial burden is very high. You might have to pay compensation to the patient. So, compensation, then all the expenses to your lawyers and all, and settlements if it is happening. So, what it covers? So it covers legal expenses. So legal expenses means whatever the lawyer takes from a doctor or any other professional. It is not only important for MBBS, like not MBBS as in a medical field graduate. It is also important for every other private firm, professional indemnity insurance, which might take a lot of uh, amount from your personal uh, money, like your finance. Then legal expenses. So what PII covers? It covers legal expenses, compensation to the patient, and settlements awarded by courts or tribunals. So why is it important? So why PII is important? Because doctors can be sued under civil law, that is COPRA. If you have not seen the video, we have put this video about Consumer Protection Act on our channel before, so please go and check out that video. Then criminal law. So that is criminal negligence, gross negligence, or any big negligence that involves, for example, a wrong patient surgery, wrong limb surgery, or gossipyboma, and that is leaving a sponge in any part of the body, like most probably it is left in abdomen. So that way. So criminal law that comes under IPC section 304A, that is death under negligence. This IPC section is death under negligence 304A, then IPC section 337 and 338. We also have BNS sections, so if you will read a textbook, you will understand BNS sections also. But you can follow both of them as of now until government makes it sure that you have to follow BNS for medical education, because BNS is very new, right? BNS was brought into term since 2023, so it's very new. So it is not a problem. You can also use IPC. Then ethical violations. So any ethical violations by MCI, NMC Code of Ethics. So is what ethics means a proper set of rules and regulations on how a medical body works, how medical education is provided to doctors, and how they spread the education, whereas get the maximum amount of diagnosis correctly and give the proper treatment. It all comes under ethics. There are some ethical principles which you have to follow, and a failure of a doctor to follow can lend him up into serious court matter. So that would be a big problem. And what is tribunals? So tribunals. Okay, so we were studying this settlements awarded by courts and tribunals. So what is tribunal? So it is a type of court with the authority to decide who is right in particular types of dispute or disagreement. So it is just like another court. Let us go further. So, what is the legal relevance of professional indemnity insurance? So, example, what and all it covers legally, like when you buy that insurance, what and all monetary factor you will achieve. So, if the patient dies due to misdiagnosis, it covers legal cost and compensation is covered. So, the doctor shouldn't worry. It is a mistake of a doctor about the misdiagnosis, but sometimes some cases do come which don't usually show any signs, or all the tests are very normal or only a little bit derailed. So that becomes a problem whenever the misdiagnosis happens. But it can happen. Patient dies due to so many things. So PII covers legal cost and compensation. Then it also covers a case that is filed under COPRA, Consumer Protection Act, that is defends the doctor in consumer court. Because if you will see this by a third person view, you will understand that things are wrong from both sides or maybe right from both sides. But as in PII is for the doctors, so we'll talk in favor of the doctor. I know that some things are not uh, done, like some things are really not right. Also, it covers a complaint to the medical council. So if a doctor is put upon any complaint in the medical council, the PII makes sure that it pays for defense and legal representation of a doctor. So pays for the defense if a doctor is defending the case, and any legal representation in the order of court. Then any gross negligence. So may not cover intentional harm or illegal acts. Just remember this because this is very important. What happens if a doctor is wrong, if there is no gross negligence by the doctor, then the PII does not cover any monetary basis or any compensation that a doctor has to offer to the patient, because it is a mistake of a doctor if he or she commits the act under intentional uh, hashtag intentional or illegal acts. That is very wrong. Let's go further. Then what is key features of indemnity insurance? A PII. So a feature. So that is coverage. So coverage is legal fees and damage to the patient. So damages to the patient is also called as compensation, and legal fees is what you have to pay to your lawyer. Then premium. So what is premium? So it is paid annually by the doctors and the hospitals. So it's not only about professional indemnity insurance. You guys must have heard from your parents that they have life insurances. They have made some life insurance on ULIC. So it also has premium, the car insurance, then any other type of insurance which you do to secure your future. So insurance is something which a person does to secure his or her future. So what is premium? So premium is an amount that a person pays annually. Sometimes there are some insurance that you have to pay monthly. You can pay monthly, but usually annually people pay. So they pay annually the amount that is charged by the insurance firms, insurance companies, and then it makes sure that a person has been paying this for this and this years, this and this much time. So he or she will definitely get the insurance. So it is just like you have to pay for the credit card every month that way. Then policy limit. So what is the policy limit? 10 lakh rupees, 50 lakh rupees, 1 crore. It is based on the practice and setup of the doctor. So if a doctor is starting his new OPD, like he's very naive, not naive in the sense, like not as a person, but as a professional, like what happens, if a doctor is very new to the private practice, he's being called naive. You can say that. Obviously, by knowledge, he is far superior, but still. So it covers 10 lakh insurance, then 50 lakhs, maximum 1 crore ka insurance. It's based on the your practice. Then exclusions. This is also very important because doctors think that if they commit any gross negligence, they'll be freed upon this insurance. But this insurance does not apply when the acts are criminal acts. The intention it is the harm is very intentional, and if there is drug abuse, so you guys must have seen Kabir Singh. In that he was intoxicated while performing surgeries, so that is very wrong. It looks nice on the theater on the big screen, but looks very different and very adrenaline rushing sort of a movie. But in real life, that is not the scenario. It becomes a very big issue. And in the movie also, it was a very big issue. So, what is retroactive date? Covers claims from earlier periods if policy is active. So there is self-explanatory. Covers so this insurance covers the claim from the earlier periods if the policy was active. We'll go further. Medical ethics and principles involved in PII. Accountability. A doctor is held responsible but protected legally. So this is the problem. A doctor should be held responsible if something is done upon his negligence or because of his negligence. He should be held responsible, but he's protected legally because sometimes mistakes do happen, and the monetary uh, stress what a person gets upon after being called to the court and all the fees, it is very high. So then second, justice. So enables the patient compensation if harmed. So you know what happens if a patient requires compensation and doctor doesn't have any money to give to the patient, insurance makes sure that he or she pays for the compensation too. The non-malfeasance that is promotes safe and cautious practice. You know you have the insurance. It is there. So you don't have to worry much, but you do have to worry in the cases where the negligence is committed by you or you think that this is going to be a negligent act by me. Then professionalism. So encourages risk management and ethical care. So you know what happens, I'll tell you. If there was no insurance at all, and if the doctors were going to be dragged into the court upon small things, it would have been a big problem. And branches like emergency medicine, then any sort of general surgery where you manage patients of burns and all, then there are some surgeries, surgical branches, then ortho and emergency medicine. I was saying emergency medicine is very important because the casualty department, I've seen many patients dying. Some are brought dead, some are uh, given CPR after cardiopulmonary arrest. But still, what happens is patient doesn't survive, or something very bad happens with the patient. And as a physician or as a surgeon, you can't do so many things to save the patient. But you should give your 100%. But when will that 100% ever come? So because of this sort of insurance is made upon the hospitals, like if a hospital, if it's big multi-specialty hospital which has casualty, that is emergency medicine department, uh, that hospital will have a big insurance. So if something like this happens, it will be covered and there won't be any problem because if this is not there, no doctor will take any risk because there are so many risks. For example, uh, so a patient has got cardiac arrest and he is not showing any pulse. So cardiac arrest is not diagnosed, okay, but all the required things like no breathing, then very feeble or no pulse actually, no pulse, and the patient is not moving, he's unconscious, and you know that if you don't perform CPR, the patient is going to die. And even in the hospitals, even when you have defibrillators available, sometimes you have to perform CPR, and most of the times you have to in the cardiac arrest. So what happens is, if you know that you don't have any protection monetarily and legally, you won't take any risk of doing that CPR. So it becomes a big problem. Let us go further. So institutions offering professional indemnity insurance. This is also very important. Once you guys will become doctors, you guys will take specialties. Then you guys will plan to start a private practice, let me make sure you guys have to take professional indemnity insurance. This is very important. So IMA, Indian Medical Association, the national insurance companies like New India Assurance, and there are many insurance companies which have, like if you go somewhere, insurance company, firm, they have different sources like car insurance, life insurance, then monetary insurance, anything. So that way they do have professional indemnity insurance. It is which is not only bound to doctors, it goes further. It is related to so many fields. Then private insurers like Tata AIG, ICICI, Lombard, example. So thank you for listening, people. So we are done with this lecture. Thank you everyone for listening. Thank you. Have a great day. Have a great year ahead. Thanks.